Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, BigSquareRoadRunner.com with your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Silver's still being held. You can still get those $30 silver American Eagles. As I said, this will be the last time in human history that you can buy silver Eagles at under $30. Meaning that I don't believe when this current manipulation is done, everybody sees what's going on. And anybody who has half a brain is buying as much silver as possible. I don't think there'll be another one, ever. We'll find out though, right? So that's my call, is that this is the last shot for silver Eagles below $30. Oh, by the way, I will be talking to Jenny Moonstone today. Again, I'm posting that on a private road. We're going to talk about when this thing ends. We're going to talk about a couple cryptos that I got lined up. And we're going to talk about the ending of the bad guy's reign. So it should be really good. Go check that out. Also, although I have a love-hate relationship with the U.S. Mint, I hate the current administration of the U.S. Mint. Ventris Gibson was an HR professional for 30 years and was put as head of the Mint by Joe Biden in a fake presidency. They stopped making silver Eagles. They just brought up the amount, as I talked about with my interview with the head of Silver Eagle Sales. Go check out that interview, by the way. There's a lot of conspiracies that get proven. Conspiracy is not necessarily false. It's either true or not true. Enron was a true conspiracy. There are true conspiracies. There are many conspiracies going on at the U.S. Mint right now. Obviously, they are not making silver Eagles to meet production, even though they've added another 4 million ounces. So they're going to do just under 20 million ounces. And right now they are at, for this overall, they're at 12,638,000. So they should be right on this track, 20 to 21 to 22, or 2,200,000 Eagles. And then they'll probably stop again in November, December. I don't think we're going to get that far. Again, this could be an extremely memorable year. The year that the United States goes back onto a gold-silver standard would be probably the last issuance of the Silver Eagle, at least in its form today. But I don't know. We'll find out. Or maybe they'll just say, okay, we'll have free coinage in the United States of America, which is possible too. There's lots of different scenarios we've talked about. Although I hate saying this, there's a great coin that just got released by the U.S. Mint, a collector's version. They charge $82 for an ounce of silver, by the way, in this one. The packaging is better, but it's not that great. The U.S. Mint on their numismatic coins, they call these numismatic, but I would like to point out to anybody who thinks about gold and silver confiscation, how they didn't confiscate numismatics. That was just a rumor. And it wasn't actually true. It wasn't written into the law in the way that you think. Gold and silver Eagles are officially, legally declared numismatic coins. Even the random ones that you get, random dates and stuff like that. The uncirculated ones, all those are collector's items. They're numismatic as well. Numismatic is a very kind of a wishy-washy term. But in the law for silver Eagles, the bulk program, those are numismatic coins. But because there is, oh, by the way, I love this coin. Yes, I'm going to buy one. They open today at 12, if I can get my hands on one. 12 noon Eastern time, which is right about now. When I finish this, I'm going to buy one. They're ridiculously high marked up, but I like the Tree of Liberty coin. It looks very cool. And the interesting thing is they don't say 999 fine. They don't say 1 ounce. It's just that. So I'm gonna get one though because I like buying cool coins from the Mint. The Mint is, again, a love-hate relationship. Their product is unbeatable throughout the world. The management and the deep state functioning of their hedge book is completely criminal. The way they run the Mint, the way Ventris Gibson, the head of the Mint, lies about telling the world that they've increased Silver Eagle production, but they only sell a third of what they could possibly sell. They should be selling over 100 million Silver Eagles a year right now, which is probably right where demand is. I know they've only sold, 48, 49 million. It's the max they've ever sold. They haven't allowed the price of silver to run free. So yes, and they in 2001 they didn't close out their hedge book when they sold their Eagles because the price was too volatile, would have jacked the price up. So they took a loss of $112 million because they were gaming the price of silver, assisting in the manipulation and price suppression of silver. I've proven that many times. But yeah, go check out my interview with Jack Sermon, the head of Silver Eagle Sales. It's on the YouTube channel. All right. So yes, I will be getting one of those. Silver price again is being held below, and this is what they're doing right in here. They're holding it below the moving averages, just like they did right here. Now this one lasted, I think, 10 days. Trading days. 1, 2. Wait, you go from the first time it breaches the 200-day moving average. So I think it was 11. It was 11 days, trading days that it was held under. So far, we're on like day 2 or 3 that's held under. 1, 2, 3. This is day 3. So we'll be looking at next week probably before it breaches, or if it might go sooner. I don't know. There's so much pressure on this in this game. But again, they can click a mouse and put the price of silver anywhere they want. They did yesterday. Again, I've been watching this TAS. TAS is like a spread contract where you sell the future month, get the downward pressure, and you buy or sell the current month and sell the future month. Lots of, if you look at, that's kind of exactly what's going on here. You look at TAS for September, 38, 70, and then December. These are 2 delivery months. All of it, I talked to Ted Butler about this. Ted's like, hey, it has nothing to do with the physical part of the silver market, which is the most important part. Yes, they can trade 1 billion ounces of silver in a given day, just trading back and forth with each other, just pure derivative bullshit. But the fact that they are pulling the derivative bullshit, this is another 36 million ounces. We are at a total of 165 million ounces in the last 7 trading days on TAS, the trade at settlement, which is just another tool they have to rig the price. But that's massive amount. It's never happened like that. Another reason to raise your hand and say, hey, this is different. Also, exchange for physical is going crazy right now. We're at 75 million ounces. The record is 200 million in a single month. These are contracts bought on the COMEX in the U.S. and then transferred over to the LBMA for delivery, so you don't run into the regulatory problems of delivery on the COMEX, the criminal exchange. That's how the Hunt brothers lost their shit, is because the COMEX, they had, I think, 110 long contracts, and the CME and the COMEX and the government came in and said, okay, no more buying silver, only selling, and poof, obviously destroyed them. They got taken out. In this instance, they're transferring all these silver longs over to London for delivery. I'll guarantee you it's because of what the CME and the regulators did to the Hunt brothers. So we will see what happens very soon on that. Very excited for now. We're in the middle of it now through end of this month. Will we get past the 20? I think it's the 24th that the BRICS nations supposedly, I don't know if they're going to or not, announces some kind of gold. It might just be we're looking at it. They're going to have to say something about it. A lot of countries say no, but those countries that are saying no, they're winning the game. Russia's going to say, no, we're not going to do that because we're winning the fiat game. China's not going to do it because they said, we're winning the fiat game. China and Russia are winning the fiat game. But I think at some point, they know the United States is sitting on billions of tons of gold, not the 8,000 tons, millions of tons. Millions of tons, billions and billions of ounces. I don't know how much the U.S. has. I would guess it's over 10. Oh, that'd be over like 20 times what we say we have. in the maybe 1 million to 2 million tons of gold. I know. Jeffrey Christian said only 200,000 tons have been mined in the history of mankind. But that's not what my research says. Sorry, Jeff, again. Your buddy Jeff Curry has left Goldman Sachs, by the way. Check out my video yesterday. All right. So here's Harvey Organ's blog. He's like a day behind. So they had 33 million ounces, I believe, in that range yesterday. So that's a total of 23 million ounces. 75, we're at 75 million ounces of exchange for deliveries. EFPs, exchange for physical. Right here, 22, 23. Yep, right at 75. No change in the open interest, which tells me the big silver long, at least last time we saw, was at 50. There's a big long and a big short fighting it out. I think the big short is BlackRock, but we don't know. Or it could be Bank of America idiots, could be JP Morgan. It would be difficult for JP Morgan to do it because they're still on their deferred prosecution agreement till the 25th of September, which I think that's the D-Day for the manipulation, by the way. They can't go past that day or JP Morgan's back in the game and rigging away. So keep an eye on that. All right, a couple other things. CPI just got announced. I think CPI, the inflation is going to start running up again. We're going to see all the, Joe did this, stickers of Joe Biden saying I did this, stuck to all the gas pumps, which happened before. So, no, I don't want inflation to rage. If you don't want inflation to rage, stop printing money. They want inflation to rage. This is the end game. Whoever prints the most wins, buys the most shit. It's not like they're hiding it from me. It's not like every country who has half a brain doesn't know that the U.S. is completely fraudulent, that they're making so much more money behind the scenes than they tell us. Catherine Austin Fitts has found, 100 trillion in bonds, U.S. bonds that are just, there's no record of them, but they're being traded. Shit like that. It's infinity money. That's what Ruta wrote in the sand. Print money to infinity and beyond, soaking up all the benefits before you crash the system, because everything will be different after you crash the system. Everything. That's what the Ruta documents say, that coming out of the Fed, Boston. Everything changes once when the derivative bubble blows. Everything changes. Nothing will be the same ever again. And we can see gas has been inching up. We're going to see gas run. Oil and gas run very soon. Saudis selling oil in Chinese yuan, all that stuff used to not be allowed. Now, I do differ from some people in the industry who say, they've done their homework on the petrodollar, which was an agreement Kissinger and Greenspan set up in the early 70s so that the Saudis bought oil and made everybody in the world buy oil in U.S. dollars, created an artificial demand for dollars. That was the petrodollar. It had nothing to do with oil and buying and selling of oil. It had everything to do with what currency would every country have to hold in their coffers to buy oil. That was no longer needed about 10, 15 years ago when the derivative market took over the oil market. So now you don't even need oil to hold the price of oil down because you can trade endless derivatives. So there hasn't been a true petrodollar in probably 15 or 20 years. So the fact that everybody else is going off the petrodollar doesn't really matter because it's all derivatives now, 100% derivatives. Interesting, though, to think about that. And then I have said for a long time there are going to be three bad guys. The first bad guy is going to be Trump. We saw that. The deep state had a big problem with Trump. Second was going to be Putin. We saw that. And the last bad guy is going to be Xi of China. China's going to shut off their exports and imports from at least to the United States. Biden just passed law, just basically pushing farther in that direction. China slams Biden for blatant economic coercion and bullying after the U.S. imposes investment limits in China. China lashed out at Joe Biden's long-awaited executive order that limits U.S. investment in technology, but stopped short of issuing immediate countermeasures. Chinese Commerce and Foreign Ministries issued strong responses on Thursday, just hours after Biden signed an executive order to begin the process of restricting high-tech U.S.-based investment towards China in areas of artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and semiconductors, and targeting countries of concern on the basis of national security. Quote, China is strongly dissatisfied and will resolutely oppose to the U.S. Insistence on introducing restrictions on investment in China. This is blatant economic coercion and technological bullying. So China can just shut us off. Biden, he's just doing what he's told. He's not even behind that mask that he wears. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with Biden. Hopefully he made it out of the Grand Canyon without them pushing him off the cliff, if you saw that. Yes, Biden did lock up another part of the surrounding area of the Grand Canyon with all that gold in the ground. As things change, and it'll change very fast, everybody and their mother is going to want to run out and look for gold. There's a lot of gold to be found. A lot of it in the Colorado River banks. It's just not equitable or cost efficient to mine at $2,000. It will be at $10,000, by the way. And you're going to see mines going up everywhere. Do I think they'll open up the Grand Canyon for mining? No, I don't think so. They already did, and the big seam they have collapsed. I don't know where that has gone. I know somebody who's been at that military base within the Grand Canyon. Yes, there is a secret military base within the Grand Canyon. He didn't see any gold. He did see him pulling out the Egyptian obelisks. But that was a long time ago. Have they figured out a way to get all that gold out of the Grand Canyon? And already processed gold in the Grand Canyon. If you want to go down the conspiracy side, I do absolutely believe that we found caves of gold, as Cibola type stuff. Yeah. I don't have enough proof to come out and have a debate on it like I do with the gold in the banks of the Colorado River. Billions of ounces in the Colorado River. They found it in the 1900s, right before they created the Federal Reserve System, and then they locked it up in national parks. Biden has just locked up another 1 million acres surrounding the exact same spot. I've been there. I've seen the abandoned mining projects. It just all absolutely makes sense. And this latest move by Biden to lock that area up makes 100% sense. So no more pulling pebbles out of the Grand Canyon or anywhere within a couple hundred miles in any direction of it. Because there's massive amounts of gold. And the interesting thing to me in that front is how it got there. We all know what we're taught in school, that gold is created in stars. It takes that kind of massive energy to create matter. And then over the Big Bang Theory says everything that's been on the planet, unless it's been deposited by an asteroid, was always there from the beginning. And I don't think that's true. There is a star very close to us, and it's called the sun. And the sun often will is constantly spewing out micro ounces of, not even micro ounces, I don't even know how much gold there is in the sun. And every once in a while, a filament of gold will come out of the sun. It's estimated there's 2 trillion tons. 2 trillion tons of gold in the in the sun. So were the Aztecs and the Mayas who called it either the sweat of the sun. I think it's the sweat of the sun, and it makes sense. As the gold accumulates and is created within the sun, it spits it out every once in a while. Was that spit out right towards Earth? Bang! Hit right at the Grand Canyon, along with electrical discharge that I've talked about quite a bit, and that's what created the Grand Canyon. We know it wasn't created by a wandering river going through. That's just a ridiculous thought, because where's all the... you scooped out all this debris. It should be down at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It should be just lying there in mountains. It's not. It's something scooped out. Or was it a expansion of the Earth where the Earth split? Or was it a filament of minerals and gold that hit along with an electrical discharge? My guess is that every once in a while the sun will spit out, one of the filaments will hit the Earth, and all of a sudden we have plenty of gold. And these filaments are, Cliff was talking about the military measuring it like miles in length, a filament of gold miles long. And it makes sense. It does. How does, if it's created in the stars, how does the star get rid of it? It's like giving birth, poof. And then, a big filament of gold comes out of the sun. Anyway, don't need to go down that path at this moment. All you got to know is, yes, there are billions of ounces of gold in the banks of the Colorado River. I have proven it. I've shown the court documents. I've shown the testimony. And this was a big thing back in the early 1900s because the bankers set the price of gold at $20, which is below the cost of mining. That was the big conspiracy. And Senator McFadden almost blew apart the entire U.S. Treasury trying to fix that. Basically trying to tax the people who bought gold, give that tax money back to like a 50% tax on gold, give the tax money back to the miners so that they can profitably mine. And then ultimately, Roosevelt said, screw that. We're just going to go from $20 to $35 to make gold profitable again to mine. It's been a long battle. Everybody's exhausted, but this is the end game. Stay spry, keep your assets in your own possession, sit there on the side of the road. My heart bleeds for all my friends out there on Maui, amazing people who live in that area that just got devastated. And, if you're on the conspiracy side, yes, they do have energy-directed weapons that they could have done. I don't know. But it's not like they haven't used these. And at this point in time, why not hit some of the most beautiful spots on Earth to send a message? So, and if you don't believe me, here's a couple of pictures of them doing just that with their energy weapons. Keep an eye here. That is not normal. Look at that. That is an energy weapon from space. There you go. There you see it. Not much disguising that one. I know, right? If they could do it there, why didn't they do it? The Santa Rosa fires in California and these fires in Hawaii. I mean, I think this is Santa Rosa. Look at this. Forest, every house just toasted to the end. And then look at the trees that are just untouched. It's a crazy world we live in. We're at war, my friends. Your best bet is to sit in your lawn chair, hold your physical silver if you don't have any. I know Will there at Perpetual Assets is selling Silver Eagles below $30, at least for right now. It's less than $7 markup is what he said. So go check that out. Of course, Andy Scheckman has a ton of silver to sell. Contact him at info@milesfranklin.com. You can contact Will at perpetualassets.com. Get your physical silver. Get it in your hands. Your best bet is to go to the local guy. You're gonna need relationships with your local guys. Get a few of them because you want to play them off each other and get a good relationship because those are the people you're gonna be selling. It's gonna cost you 10 ounces of silver to buy your next Ferrari. So just make sure that you know who you're dealing with. And just another point on the Silver Eagles. There is a scenario, and Jim Sinclair has discussed this with Bill Holter. Jim Sinclair comes from a banking family that would be in the know, shall we say. And he said the plan back then was to make U.S. mint gold and silver coinage the only silver that would be legal to hold for U.S. citizens. I have no idea if that's still going to be the case. And they can do that, especially with today's technology from Honeywell, the crystalline structure scanner that you can put each individual Silver Eagle on a blockchain with the individual code number based off that scan of the crystalline structure, because every coin has a different crystalline structure. And they have the technology to do that cheap and easy. And the guy who was in charge of that, guy named David Ryder, went from Honeywell to the U.S. Mint, changed the back of the mint to an eagle, put the notch in, which I think is a holder of the. It's either they can check the crystalline structure in the notch, or they can use the notch as a placement thing and then check the coin. I'm not sure how they do it with this technology, but clearly. Oh, by the way, when David Ryder came into the mint, he was doing 30. He was doing 30 to 40 million coins instantly. So the U.S. Mint can do it, and Ventures Gibson, the Joe Biden appointee, is not doing it. She's choosing not to do it. So just keep that in mind. That I think I do. I'm not saying swap everything for gold and silver eagles, especially with silver eagles for a very long time have had the highest premium. But I do think, especially in that case, that would be extreme. I mean, I don't know anybody who would give up their physical silver that's not part of the U.S. Mint coinage program. Then again, we could go back. What I think is more likely, we go back to our Constitution. We get rid of these criminal bankers, and like Ventures Gibson will be long gone. Bring back David Ryder maybe, and then offer free coinage to people of the United States of America. Bring your gold and silver in. They will mint you a coin for free, and they will put it within the U.S. Treasury system. It's a great way to build the Treasury and create a way for people to transact business locally. According to Road to Ruta documents, there will be no foreign exchange, and that makes sense. The crashing of the derivative market. I mean, China's already ready to block us out, but when the system falls apart, we're not going to be trading with China or Mexico or anybody else. Just keep that in mind. We're going to have to look locally. It's great because we need the jobs. Obviously, we're going to need something to do and build back better, as Joe Biden says. So we will see. I think it's all coming ahead over the next 2 to 3 months. We'll see, though. I've been in this game long enough to know how long they can kick a can. But remember, who's winning the game now? China and Russia. Who can decide whether to pull the plug? The United States of America. I think the U.S. is pretty much the only country that can decide to pull the plug. Even if China and Russia say they're buying every ounce of gold and silver, it doesn't matter unless you control the computer programs written by Alan Greenspan originally. And you can sell 1 trillion ounces of gold in the click of a mouse, unless you can be able to do that, which is the U.S. government is the only one who allows that. You're pretty much shit out of luck. But again, I don't think China and Russia are going to stop anything. Why would they? They're winning the game. The U.S. is the only loser in this game. So that's who I think will pull the plug. We're the largest debtor, by the way, also, so that will be gone as well. I know, it all sounds crazy, but it's all happening. So don't know what to tell you. Get in your lawn chair, sit on the sidelines. This is Big Sweater. I'll talk to you later.